Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Hello and welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show, keeping your local stories close to home in West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and the city of Sylvan Lake all throughout your work week. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft, and thank you for joining us as you do each and every day on Comcast Channel 15 and on AT&T Channel 99. You can also find us on the web on Civic Center TV. .com live and on demand each and every day. Find us on Facebook and follow along for more updates at Civic Center TV 15. And find us on YouTube live and on demand and subscribe for free on YouTube at Civic Center TV. In addition, you can take your favorite local programming with you on the radio, live simulcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 89.3 Lakes FM. We'll also have weather updates all throughout the week here and what's expected to be a bitterly cold and cloudy week in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Some potential for some storm activity later on in the week. Hopefully nothing much like we've seen over the past few days. Some weather activity possible later on. We've heard of maybe some other storms, but nothing toward that line, possibly snow or some rain. But for now, we'll stick to the next few days and begin with today, which is going to be a very cold day and already is off to a very cold start. Your high today is 9 degrees and your low is in the negatives. -3 Fahrenheit is the low for the Greater West Bloomfield area today. Cloudy all throughout the day with a bitter cold feel outside. We are under a wind chill advisory here in Oakland County with the winds outside not being too severe, right around 10 miles per hour at their max throughout the day. But that wind chill will make that low of -3 feel a couple degrees to several degrees lower than it actually is, and whatever temperature it is throughout the day. It's going to feel a little bit cooler than that when you are outside, especially for prolonged periods of time. So limit the amount of time you're outdoors. Make sure you bundle up a little bit extra. Hey, it's always easier to be too warm and take a layer off while you're outside than to not be warm enough and not have extra layers with you to get warmer when you're outside in the elements. Also a good day to think about your pets that are outside. If you're letting your dog out to take a bathroom break, or maybe you have indoor and outdoor cats or along those lines. Probably a good day to keep them mostly indoors as it's going to be bitterly cold, especially as we get later on in the day. And with the cloud cover that we're going to have today throughout the majority of this Monday, that wind chill is going to have a big advantage over us, and we're not going to have sunshine to kind of offset that colder weather. So keep that in mind. Tuesday, a lot of the same, not much different temperature-wise. 8 degrees is the high and a low of just 1 throughout the Greater West Bloomfield area. It will be cloudy in the morning. We will get some sunshine around 11 a.m. and through part of the afternoon. It will be partly cloudy. That's part of the reason why that low temperature is a little bit higher in the actual positive degrees on Tuesday in the current forecast as of now. Is that little bit of sunshine will probably be about all the sunshine we'll get throughout the week other than those partly cloudy times. Wednesday, heat wave coming through. 14 is your high. 14 is also your low. Partly cloudy to cloudy, varying all throughout the day as you get through the middle part of the week. We will stick with you for more updates on what's expected to be a very cold week, especially these first couple of days in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Taking a look at the most important headlines around our area, most of them surrounding the storm activity over the weekend and now the bitter cold in the aftermath as we think about all those in our community. The bitter cold is going to continue to affect us today on this Monday and all throughout the early portions of the week. Oakland County continuing to provide information on warming centers available all throughout our local area and on the outskirts as well throughout other parts of Metro Detroit. We'll go through some of the neighboring communities communities right next to us in the Greater West Bloomfield area that do have warming centers available in case you are outdoors today and are in need of a place to go get warm and you can't get home in a timely manner. A bitter cold is expected all week. We'll have more advice on that cold weather and how to keep yourself safe from the West Bloomfield Police Department and from the West Bloomfield Fire Department. Plus, we'll have updates on the bitter cold, the wind chill advisory, and more from the National Weather Service's Detroit office out of Pontiac and White Lake. We'll take a look also at some of the aftermath of that huge storm on Friday. It was an ugly evening. I got some stories for you even too about our preparations for other productions over this past weekend, how that storm affected that. It was a very bad day, very bad evening, and even got into Saturday and to Sunday. Also got some pictures from across the Greater West Bloomfield community of some of the ways that storm affected us right here in our 4 communities. It's a good time with all this weather activity over the past several days and the cold today to sign up for Oak alerts and other alerts through Nixle and so on to keep updated on crime and, of course, on weather and other emergencies in our local area. We'll go through information on that. Plus, we have plenty of special coverage from the 30th United We Walk event. We were out there yesterday at West Bloomfield Middle School for the full event, both the ceremony, the walk, and the service projects that happened. It was a beautiful day to commemorate the 30th anniversary of United We Walk, the 30th year that they have had an actual formal ceremony, although it's been part of the Greater West Bloomfield community for well beyond 30 years, as we recognize today as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Dave Scott from our team talked to several people out at that event, and we'll take a look at those discussions here through the majority of our show. Also on today's program, we'll talk about a special meeting that will be happening tonight, organized by Keego Harbor residents in their effort to save their beloved Roosevelt School building, the 103-year-old building that has stood on Cass Lake Road in Keego Harbor for, of course, over a century, is scheduled to be demolished in the coming months after the West Bloomfield School District approved that demolition late in 2023 as part of its Strategic Visioning Committee's several-point plan for improving the school district in the near future. We'll give you a little bit of insight into what they will be discussing at this meeting, as well as how you can participate. Plus, various departments across the Greater West Bloomfield area in West Bloomfield Township's government proper are hiring, and they will have a job fair later on this week. We'll give you details on that job fair, plus a special edition of our program here on the Splash Live is coming up on Friday in partnership with our friends at the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. We'll check in with them about that and tell you what we'll be doing out at West Bloomfield Parks Connect for a special edition of the Splash Live on Friday morning at the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce's board installation breakfast. Stay with us for more stories from across the Greater West Bloomfield area, keeping your local news close to home. The Splash Live. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. Take a break and tune in to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join Tyler Kieft as he goes through headlines and events, updating you on the day-to-day happenings in Oakland County. Catch us live weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce celebrates new members at the Board Installation Breakfast. Witness the swearing in of the Chamber's new leaders. Get to know the community's locally owned businesses, featuring former WWJ news anchor Brooke Allen and 48th District Court Judge Diane DeAugustini. Join us January 19th from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. for our live coverage of the event. Catch it streaming online at civiccentertv.com. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on CivicCenterTV.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at CivicCenterTV.com and click Schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show, keeping your local news close to home in West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake Village, Keego Harbor, and the city of Sylvan Lake 5 days a week on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Bitter cold is expected today and throughout much of the opening portion of this week in Greater West Bloomfield as we continue through the aftermath of a massive winter storm that blew through our area and really all of lower Michigan over the weekend. With that being the case, with temperatures expected to be in the negative degrees today on the low side, low of -3, and wind chills expected to make that even more severe. Warming centers continue to be available through Oakland County in a post you can see on their Facebook page at oakgov.com. That includes a link to warming centers all throughout our local area. The closest ones to us here in the Greater West Bloomfield area on the southern side of our community are in Farmington Hills, the Caustic Center at 28600 West 11 Mile Road, as well as Farmington Hills Fire Station number 5. That's Farmington Hills Fire Station 5, 31455 West 11 Mile Road. On the northern side of our community, the closest warming centers are going to be just outside of Sylvan Lake in the city of Pontiac at New Hope Church, 394 Howland Avenue in Pontiac, as well as the Pontiac Public Library, that is 60 East Pike Street. In Pontiac. You can find more information on these warming centers that are available as well as their days and times of service by visiting oakgov.com, or better yet, go to their Facebook page. This is a very recent post of theirs, facebook.com/oakgov for even more information. The bitter cold is going to continue all throughout this week in the Greater West Bloomfield area. It's continuing to take a toll in our community. So our local public safety departments are making updates on that and posting about those on their social media pages. The West Bloomfield Police Department recently posting on their Facebook page, quote, dangerously cold Arctic air settles across the region this week. Wind chill advisories are in effect, with wind chills ranging from -5 to -20 today through Wednesday. So they are asking that you limit time spent outdoors in order to avoid possible afflictions with frostbite or worse yet, even hypothermia, both of which can be extremely dangerous to your body. The National Weather Service also providing some other updates on the conditions going forward. Blustery snow with snow showers diminishing. Flurries 5 to 20 degrees have been possible throughout other areas. That was on Sunday. Today, 7 degrees to 15 degrees are really on the higher side of things across the entire metro Detroit area. In our area of town, the high is expected to be around 9 degrees today. And then also the West Bloomfield Fire Department continuing to warn as snow drifts and as you continue to plow your driveways or shovel your driveways to be mindful of fire hydrants in our area. In an event of an emergency, our fire department needs to get to those fire hydrants as quickly as possible. We had fires as late as Thursday last week in the Greater West Bloomfield area, or late last week we had a fire in the Greater West Bloomfield area just before the snowstorm, and the West Bloomfield Fire Department was able to quickly get residents out of that fire safely from that home. 8 people were saved in that scenario because A, they had working smoke detectors, but B, because of the conditions, those fire hydrants were easily accessible, and so they were able to get into the home, the fire department, and extinguish that fire. But if it's covered with snow, if there are mounds of snow being plowed in front of those fire hydrants, yeah, the fire department's still going to get to them. They're still going to be able to use them most likely, but they're going to take that precious time digging away space that they need in order to get to those fire hydrants, in order to have the safety they need. Let's put that infographic back up real quick, Calvin. 3 feet around the entire perimeter, a 3-foot radius is what they need for a clear shot at those fire hydrants so that they can get access to that water if they need in order to put out fires in our community. Those are still very possible, especially with people that still have maybe power outages or future power outages that could result from other weather activity. People will run their generators. People are trying to keep warm inside and maybe are trying not to use their heat or don't have heat in their home, and so they're using space heaters or they're using electric blankets or something like that. And if those are unattended, if those are faulty in any way, those can also cause fire. So still, plenty of opportunity for fire in our community. All the more reason to help out our friends at the West Bloomfield Fire Department by keeping those hydrants clear. Even more information on how you can keep safe during this bitter cold can be found on the West Bloomfield Police Department's Facebook page, facebook.com at West Bloomfield PD. The Fire Department, facebook.com at WB Fire Department. And of course, keep up to date on the latest winter weather information from the National Weather Service's Detroit office out of Pontiac and White Lake, facebook.com at NWS Detroit. Taking a look at some of the aftermath of the winter storm in our local community. It was a really, really treacherous weekend for police and fire departments across our community. I got tons of alerts on Friday night through text messages and through emails as a result of road closures in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Let's take a look at some pictures. This is one that was posted by Kirsten Sonneville Douglas out of Keego Harbor, part of the Parks and Recreation Committee as well, posting a reminder to those in the heart of the lakes to go out and brush the heavy snow off your arborvitae and other trees in order to help preserve those, because they're heavy, they're going to over-soak those branches, the ice is going to form over them, and it was thick ice also, so that was really good advice. Plus, we saw some pictures of road closures, including on Old Orchard Trail in Orchard Lake. This is from our friends at the Orchard Lake Police Department, who had to close several roads in their community, including Old Orchard Trail, put up flares on the roads because of the visibility issues, police lines, they had tree branches and other debris that had fallen down. It was an ugly night, and that persisted all throughout the weekend, even coming in on Sunday for United We Walk at West Bloomfield Middle School, which we'll get to in just a few moments. It was really bad on those roads. I had to take some extra detours to get not only from Green Media Center to West Bloomfield Middle School, but to get from Green Media Center back to my home in western Oakland County. And so though the road's still slick today, still icy today, keep that in mind as you're out and about on this Monday in Greater West Bloomfield. And of course, we mentioned alerts being sent that was sent on Friday through Nixle and other systems that are available. Nixle.com, if you can get a free service that sends you text message alerts for crime and for road updates, emergency updates in your specific zip code. You can sign up for multiple zip codes. NIXLE.com is the place to go for those. Another great asset that's available for free through Oakland County is Oak Alert. And this is something you can sign up for weather alerts or other emergency alerts in the Oakland County area. You can find more information on that by going to oakgov.com/alert or sign up by texting Oak Alert to 99411. 99411. If you text Oak Alert to that number, you can sign up for Oakland County's alerts through their Oakland County Emergency Management and Homeland Security Department. Keep in mind, standard text messaging and data rates will apply. If you don't have unlimited in your contract, you will want to keep that in mind. We get a lot of updates, and very often they are really timely also, but they can be helpful. They were helpful to me on Friday night, driving back from testing some things out for weekend productions, just as things were getting really, really bad. Usually my drive home, about 25 minutes or so. On Friday, it was over an hour, nearly an hour and a half, and the roads aren't terribly much better today than they were on Friday. Not any diss to the Road Commission for Oakland County. It's so icy outside that it's tough to have the measures that they're taking even be effective in clearing that ice, which of course makes clearing the roads that much tougher. They continue to be out there working around the clock to keep all the roadways in Oakland County safe, and with priority, of course, going to our highways first, followed by the majorly trafficked roads. We've talked to Craig Bryson in the past about how they go about that, and it is a very scientific formula. It is based on data. It is based on traffic volume that typically happens throughout our local community. We'll take a very brief break on the Splash Live. On the other side, we'll get into the big celebration. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is today, and the Greater West Bloomfield community began its celebration on Sunday with the 30th United We Walk event. More coverage coming up next on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy, and if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, keeping your local news close to home in West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft, and we invite you to always keep up to date with us on the latest stories and fun programs from across the Greater West Bloomfield community by joining us on CivicCenterTV.com. We had a great time on Sunday at the 30th United We Walk event with the West Bloomfield School District over at West Bloomfield Middle School, a big celebration with a formal ceremony. The walk, which was moved inside because of the bitter cold and the snowy conditions outdoors, so a little bit of a tour for the community that hasn't maybe necessarily been around the new West Bloomfield Middle School, and plenty of opportunities to celebrate the life and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It was a great event out there. The live video from yesterday's event is now posted on our website on CivicCenterTV.com, as well as on our Facebook and our YouTube pages at Civic Center TV 15 and Civic Center TV, respectively, and will be airing all throughout the day today and going forward over the next several weeks on Civic Center TV. We had the pleasure of being out at the event and talking to so many that were involved in putting this event on and about the impact of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy as it continues to have an impact here in the Greater West Bloomfield area and beyond. Dave Scott was out there yesterday, had a chance to talk to so many people that were involved in making this event happen, including some of the students that took a leadership role yesterday, having a chance to talk to a couple of the student co-chairs. We'll take a look at one of the first of those discussions as Dave talked to student co-chair Daniel Owens at yesterday's United We Walk. Let's go out to Dave.
Thanks, Tyler. We're right here in the auditoria of the West Bloomfield Middle School for United We Walk, one of the biggest events of the year here.
There's going to be other people.
Thanks, Tyler. We're right here in the auditoria of the West Bloomfield Middle School for United We Walk, one of the biggest events of the year here in West Bloomfield, something we always look forward to. And it is a freezing cold Sunday here in Greater West Bloomfield. That's why we're inside, and delighted now to be joined by one of the student co-chairs of this year's event, Daniel Owens. Daniel.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Tell me why this event is important to you.
I think it's important because we need to be united as a community, and we need to be all in this together.
Well, those are very good words. As the co-chair, you're going to have an opportunity today to speak to this audience. We'll be seeing that on Civic Center TV. What are you going to be talking about?
We're going to be talking about there's going to be different people that are going to come up and present. Like, there's going to be one person playing the guitar, there's going to be the jazz band, and there's going to be other people presenting.
So I'm a little older than you, okay? So from your perspective, from a student at West Bloomfield High School, is Martin Luther King Day and United We Walk impactful on the students?
Yeah, I think it's really impactful. I think it has to do to the kind of just the way that he presented himself, as how peaceful he was in the way compared to other different leaders. He did not want to commence violence. He did everything peacefully, and Yeah.
Well, and Dr. King was amazing
Yeah.
in that way. And, you know, especially in our society, it's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
You look at the media and you look at how almost loud, literally how loud everybody is.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot of patience and quiet in people that are making a difference. And so you're saying Dr. King was impactful, but he didn't need to yell,
Yeah.
didn't need to make a lot of noise and peaceful
Exactly.
protest, right?
Exactly.
And does that had an impact on you?
Yeah. I think he kind of inspired me by not being violent in that sort of way, and peacefully, even when like arguing, just maintaining peacefulness in that way.
Well said, Daniel. I appreciate it. What year are you in West Bloomfield?
2026.
Okay, well, very good. Do you know where you're going to school or what your plans are yet?
I want to go to Michigan, but...
All right. Well, that's after they won that national championship. Who doesn't want to go to... Even our cameraman, Tyler, who went to Michigan State, is even rethinking that. So, Daniel, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Back to you in the studio, Tyler Kieft from West Bloomfield Middle School and United We Walk.
Appreciate that, Dave. We'll get back out to him in just a moment here as we continue to celebrate United We Walk in our community. So many pictures posted on the West Bloomfield School District's Facebook page in the immediate aftermath of that event yesterday. It was such a fun day to see so many people braving the cold, coming out to West Bloomfield Middle School. Here you see Jermaine Evans on the right, one of their assistant principals, who was helping John Verleuve from West Bloomfield High School on the audio and the visual out there in the auditoria yesterday at West Bloomfield Middle School for this event. So many people showed up. The West Bloomfield School District's Board of Education represented so many school board members, including on the left on your screen on CivicCenterTV.com, President Stacy Brickman, as well as educators and other students from across the Greater West Bloomfield community joining in on this celebration. Some special presentations and other projects also happening after the ceremony and after the walk. But before all that happened, of course, we had Dave Scott out, who talked, of course, to Daniel Owens, one of the student co-chairs. There were several other co-chairs that played a leading role in planning this event, and others like Daniel and our next guest on the program with Dave Scott out at West Bloomfield Middle School, who actually were actively participating in the ceremony as well, playing key leadership roles in this landmark 30th United We Walk celebration. Let's go back out to West Bloomfield Middle School and Dave Scott.
Thank you very much, Tyler. Dave Scott here at the auditoria here at West Bloomfield Middle School for United We Walk. It's freezing cold outside, much more pleasant inside on this Sunday when we're recording this. Joining me now, one of the co-chairs of this year's event, student co-chair, sophomore Kate Mendel. Kate, thank you very much for joining us.
Of course.
Excited to be here today. The event hasn't happened yet when we're recording this. Are you you excited and getting all worked up for your big presentation today?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very ready to be here.
So tell me a little bit about why this is a very important day for you.
This event means a lot to me because I've been going to this event since I was 3 years old. I even did like a speech in 6th grade when I went to the event, and it's very meaningful to me and Dr. King's message.
So this is not your first time on stage at this event. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And talk to me a little bit about MLK Day, the weekend, and United We Walk here in West Bloomfield.
I think this is a very important event that means a lot to our community, to gather people from all around the city, and for such a great meaning too, such a great purpose.
Well, you know, we live in a very diverse community here in West Bloomfield. You go to a very diverse high school, much more diverse than it was when I graduated in 1977.
Definitely.
Talk about living and working and going to school in a diverse community and the benefits of that.
Yeah, I think having a very diverse community is very important, and you can make like so many friends no matter what their race is, and you can learn so many different things too with everyone at your school.
All right, well said. So what do you know what you're going to be talking about here in a little bit?
Yeah, so I'll be doing a lot of acknowledgments and introducing other speakers that are coming up on the stage.
All right, Kate. Well, if you do half as good on stage as you did on camera with us, I know we're going to be in good shape. So good to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Again, another very impressive West Bloomfield High School student, this time sophomore Kate Mendel, who is the co-student chair of this year's United We Walk 2024 right here at West Bloomfield Middle School. That's what's going on out here. Tyler, back to you in our Splash studios.
And not the only two students that were involved in the committee that formed this event, that planned this event, spent the better part of the last year from the end of the 29th United We Walk a year ago to that day on Sunday, planning and executing this year's event. So many others behind the scenes helping to organize service projects, other activities all throughout the year in support of this United We Walk effort in the West Bloomfield School District. These were just the two students that were kind of on the front side of things as the face of this year's event, helping to navigate things on the stage. But we also saw so many other West Bloomfield High School and West Bloomfield School District students involved, including a button contest winner from Roosevelt Elementary School, the West Bloomfield High School Jazz Band. We also saw a guitarist from West Bloomfield High School who performed during this event, and you can watch all of that on CivicCenterTV.com. United We Walk on demand and available now, and it will replay in full this afternoon and evening, 2:30 p.m., 7 o'clock p.m., and 9 o'clock p.m. And again, always on demand on CivicCenterTV.com. We'll take a very short break on the Splash Live. On the other side, we'll go back out to West Bloomfield Middle School. More conversations to be had about United We Walk between Dave Scott and members of the community participating and organizing the 30th United We Walk event. Stay with us. The Splash Live will be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on CivicCenterTV.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at CivicCenterTV.com and click Schedule at the top of the screen. The Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce celebrates new members at the Board Installation Breakfast. Witness the swearing in of the Chamber's new leaders. Get to know the community's locally owned businesses, featuring former WWJ news anchor Brooke Allen and 48th District Court Judge Diane DeAugustini. Join us January 19th from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. for our live coverage of the event. Catch it streaming online at CivicCenterTV.com. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, keeping your local news close to home in the Greater West Bloomfield area 5 days a week. Stay with us on Facebook and on YouTube and other social media. Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. We're also on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube at Civic Center TV. Follow, like, subscribe, and keep us in your feed each and every day, all for free. And of course, you can always find our programming online on CivicCenterTV.com. Out at the 30th United We Walk event at West Bloomfield Middle School over the weekend, we had a chance to talk to so many people involved in the event, both planning and executing the event this year, participating in the 30th ceremony, and even those who played a critical role on day one, way back in the 90s at the first United We Walk event. We have our own team here, our news team with myself and Dave Scott, who are out at the event and talking about it, of course, today on the Splash Live. But other former journalists that you've seen on your TV screens also played a critical role in building this event that's now gone 30 times around the sun with us here in the Greater West Bloomfield community. Let's go back out to Dave Scott as he meets with another leader in our community.
Thanks, Tyler. Dave Scott out here at West Bloomfield Middle School at the 30th annual United We Walk. We are recording this before the beginning of the program. People beginning to file in. Cold outside, the walk happening inside, along with a lot of the other ceremonial festivities that are going on today. And joining me now is West Bloomfield Township Commissioner, board member, I should say, Jonathan O'Shea. Jonathan, good to see you.
It's nice to be here.
Member of the Township Board. I gave you a promotion with Commissioner there. I don't know what I'm thinking today, but hey, good to see you. And I know you're deeply involved in this event. Great to see you actively involved in this very important event here in West Bloomfield.
I think I've been on the committee for about 12 years now. I'm an adult co-chair this year. So I helped get all the permits through the Township Board. Of course, they couldn't say no to me. And just sort of helping organize, do last-minute things, getting the place ready for everyone as they're coming in.
Talk about what this event means to our increasingly diverse community.
I think everybody wants to come together for a sense of belonging, and it really does help bring people together with the service projects, with the walk. The walk is sort of a good way to express solidarity, and then all the small things that happen, the button contest, the essay contest, all the decorations that the students do. It really makes it a warm environment.
There's really nice duality in purpose in this event, in that it gives older folks like us a chance to think about and spend some time with focus on Dr. King over the weekend. But for the young people that get involved, it's so critical and helpful to give them a sense of what this holiday weekend is really all about.
I think so, and especially because what Dr. King said was so long ago that to them it could be dinosaurs for when it happened, sort of the way people might view me. But so it does bring meaning to them when they work on the essays or whatever it is that they're participating. And we're doing service projects as well to help those who are less fortunate.
Well, and that's been a newer development. You've been involved in it for 12 years. Over the last several years, the growth in the service projects associated with this event has been something that's really given this event a kind of a whole new life.
Right, we've adopted different organizations as our partners, Grace Centers of Hope, the backpacks for schools, things like that. Blessings in a backpack. So we're collecting personal hygiene items this year for folks who are less fortunate. So we're really trying to make an impact on the community as well, a tangible impact.
Well, and this has got to be one of the things that makes being a township board member really enjoyable. You've got a lot of work and contracts and numbers and business to do, but being able to get involved in an event like this has got to make you feel good.
It does. I think I've always wanted to work on things that bring the community together. I think that really just makes it a much better place for everyone to live in, really. So.
Well, and you do a great job, and we see you at all these events, so thank you very much for your commitment to the community. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Jonathan Warshay from the West Bloomfield Township Board. Tyler, that's what's going on out here. We're going to be back with a whole lot more in the Splash, but for right now, back to the studio.
Appreciate it, Dave, and appreciate all the leaders that went into putting this event on and volunteering at this event also. We heard from West Bloomfield Township Supervisor Steve Kaplan during the event, Dr. Danya Bazzi, the superintendent of the West Bloomfield School District, and then Jonathan Warshay, not only a township board member, the capacity he was in there at yesterday's event wasn't just as another ambassador for the board, as Debbie Binder and Terry Weingarten were also present at the United We Walk 30th annual event, but he was also one of the two adult co-chairs alongside Jennifer Graham, leading the charge of this year's event and helping the students that also played such a big role in preparing for this landmark event in participating. We also heard from previous leaders of the school district during the full ceremony. Again, you can find that on demand right now on Civic Center TV. In the meantime, let's go back out to West Bloomfield Middle School. I mentioned earlier on that we were going to be hearing from people that were instrumental in the founding of this event way back in the 90s and have also been on screen, much like us here at Civic Center TV, bringing you the news from throughout the Metro Detroit area. One local resident played a critical role in building this event 30 years plus ago in the Greater West Bloomfield community, and Dave Scott had a chance to talk to her yesterday at West Bloomfield Middle School. Let's go back.
Thank you, Tyler. Here at United We Walk, the 30th anniversary of United We Walk, Dave Scott at West Bloomfield Middle School. The program, as the moment we're recording this, is getting ready to kick off. We'll have complete coverage on Civic Center TV. If you want to see every bit of the program, just stay tuned. Tyler will tell you when and how that's going to be happening here on Civic Center TV. Right now, I am delighted to be joined by Charlene Mitchell-Rogers. Did I get all that right?
You got it right.
How about that? Charlene, you were really the founder of this whole event. Tell me where you were, what you were doing 30 years ago, and how this whole thing got started.
We can talk over the jazz band.
Fine. They're just warming up. We'll be
30 years ago, myself, as a parent of West Bloomfield, what was Orchard Lake Middle School then, a student here, we went before the school board and we requested that they acknowledge, they meaning the district, the township, acknowledge a national holiday. Martin Luther King Day was already a national holiday, and we in West Bloomfield were one of the few jurisdictions that had not yet acknowledged it. Southfield did, Bloomfield Hills, Rochester, even communities that were less diverse than West Bloomfield. And when we brought it up, everybody just kind of nodded in the affirmative and said, nobody's ever asked, let's do it. Boom. And that night they voted unanimously, and that was the beginning, and it has been so wonderful since that time.
Well, what a great idea, and something that was so important for the community. 30 years ago, did you imagine that this would turn into this event that we are enjoying today?
Well, actually, the event started out like gangbusters because we walked from, like 2 miles all the way down to Lone Pine Road and back and back. It used to be at the high school. But now with climate change and all of that, we're not doing the walk the way we used to because it's always this time of year.
Right.
Can't change King's birthday.
Right.
And we have a snowstorm.
Right.
So we're going to march inside the school this time. So it's not so much where we walk, it's the thought behind the whole thing. And that we just can never forget. We have to remember, and sometimes people say, oh, I don't know if I want to go. I don't feel like getting out of bed. Well, we do everything else we want to do.
Well, one of the things that impresses me at being at this event in the last several years, when I was in the high school, when we were marching down Orchard Lake Road, and even last year when we just walked around the parking lot,
right,
is how many people in different organizations, not only here in West Bloomfield, but from all around the county and the region. A lot of people will be here today that aren't West Bloomfield residents,
right,
because they know how important this event is.
They support it.
Yeah,
they support it. And you meet people, because I've never met you.
There you go.
Yes. Now I know who does the West Bloomfield TV, Civic Center TV. And you're doing a good job, and everybody, it's just nice. It's just a nice event. I love it.
Well, so you've got a media background. Tell folks, I'm sure they are familiar.
Well, yeah, most of my adult life, I worked as a TV news reporter and anchor all over the country. I was the first African-American woman on television in my hometown of Toledo, which is, a suburb of Detroit.
Right.
So, and from Toledo, which I stayed about a year and a half, I moved on to Baltimore, worked at the station next door to Oprah, where she was working. We became
very
little
cool
friends because she was dating a guy at my station, and so we knew each other.
Oprah's friend.
Yeah,
Here,
no, Oprah. She wouldn't remember me. I remember her. And then I worked in Washington D.C. for a couple of years, and then Boston for 7 years. And then I wanted to be closer to my family in Ohio, and so miraculously I got a job offer to come to Detroit and work for Channel 2. It was not Fox at that time. It was Store Broadcasting. But I didn't stay there very long because Channel 7 stole me away during the Bill Bonds days, during the golden days of Channel 7.
I think about those golden days and how big of a deal Channel 7 was, not only here,
we were
but
number one.
But just like I was watching the old Rocky movie the other day,
yeah.
and there's Diana Lewis, from
Rocky.
Channel 7 anchor.
Yes.
She's right in there.
Right.
She wasn't working in Detroit then,
right,
but how cool, really, when you think about that, you can have an awful lot of impact on the community when you're looking at a TV camera every day, can't you?
You really can, because, as a news reporter, I've done everything from riding an elephant and covering the circus to being the first one on the scene when somebody's laying in the street from gunshot wounds before the medical examiner gets there. So, and fires and weather stories and some of everything. And you get to experience things that you don't experience in your personal life growing up because you're in every community and you see how people live. And to bring it back to what we're doing today,
sure,
I think it's that experience that I've had that lets me understand how different cultures operate and how we have to operate together for the better good.
Well, I'm going to kind of invoke the Spider-Man thing, with great power comes great responsibility. I believe as media people, we have that to do what we can to spread the message. There's going to be days when it's bad, but there's going to be days like today when it's so important to get people motivated and inspired to not just take this weekend off and go to some appliance sale, but to recognize Dr. Martin Luther King, his life and his contributions.
And we have to recognize that Dr. King, with all that he has done, and he has finally got a statue in D.C. on the Mall, there are so many people today, the contemporaries, that are carrying that out. And the young people, we just can't forget. We got to keep it going and acknowledge some of the people, our contemporaries, that are, that are doing the same thing. Because otherwise, we're just going to lose it.
Well, and this event, it works out really well at this event, Charlene, because every year we do have a nice opportunity to get a lot of students involved, and they'll be very involved in this event. So good to meet you.
Thank you.
I'm
meet
sorry
you
we've
too.
not met in the
Yes.
past. And
High five.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Good
let's have a
job on
great
this
day.
event.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tyler,
all right.
back to you.
Appreciate it, Dave. And as we talk about Charlene's impact and her volunteerism over the years and helping to organize the original event way back in the mid-1990s all the way to the present. So many volunteers involved in making the 30th United We Walk the special day that it was, including volunteers representing the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity's Iota Rho Lambda chapter right out of our local area. Dave Scott also had a chance to talk to one of their leaders at this weekend's event. Let's go back out to West Bloomfield Middle School and hear from Alpha Phi Alpha's fraternity.
Thank you very much, Tyler. We're here at the West Bloomfield Middle School 30th Annual United We Walk, and it seems like every year the Alpha Phi Alpha people are here, and it's so good to see you again. Your name again?
Russell Estelle.
Russell. So talk to me about your involvement with this event.
Well, I'm part of the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, the Iota Rho Lambda chapter, which is situated in Pontiac, Michigan, but covers Oakland County. And every year, in honor of our brother, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we, as part of the United Walk celebrations, that we have here, we always take part, we always help sponsor the event, and whatever we can do to contribute, we do. We also participate in the march or the walk forward, and it's something deep to our hearts because we all know that Reverend King was a drum leader for justice, and he certainly was with our fraternity as well. So as a fraternity, we do what we can to support this function.
Well, and your group is also so enthusiastic every year. I mean, we're inside this year. It's maybe dampens the enthusiasm just a little bit, but not really that much. It just wouldn't have been safe to be outside today. But last year when we talked at the walk, you and your group just added so much energy to the event. It's good to see you're adding the support. This has been going on for 30 years.
Yes.
How critical is it, especially for the young people, that we gather every year here for this walk?
Well, it's critical to the point that we have to make sure that we recognize what Dr. King and his mission stood for. Unfortunately, the mission still exists. It's a must to our community, to our world. So this is the reason why we have celebrations like this for Dr. King's birthday. And it's just very important for our young people to understand the value of peace, the value of love for everyone, regardless of race, color, creed, preference. And I think that is what I just said is kind of underscored of what we are facing now in the world. So it's so great to have celebrations like this so we can remind everybody of what we need.
Unfortunately, it isn't getting any easier. And, you know, maybe even now, Dr. King's message is even ringing even more true today than it was when, you know, he was marching when he was here with us in the physical space.
Yes, that's true. And that's why, again, we have to have celebrations like this to remind not only people in West Bloomfield community, but around the world. We have to keep having these celebrations to not only honor Dr. King, but what his mission was as a peace, as human beings.
Well, always good to see Alpha Phi Alpha here. Thank you so much for your support of this great event. Thanks for being with me today.
Thank you so much.
Tyler, back to you in the studio.
Really exciting day out at the West Bloomfield Middle School for the 30th United We Walk event. So many different volunteers, so many participants showed up despite the cold, despite the weather, despite the road conditions to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and many leaders taking a big role in making this event happen. And perhaps chief among those leaders is Jennifer Graham, one of the two adult co-chairs of the United We Walk committee, who has played an integral role in planning this event all throughout the year and making this happen on a snowy and tough weekend yesterday at West Bloomfield Middle School. We'll go back out to Dave Scott in just a moment. Calvin, if you can get that video ready with Jennifer Graham, and we'll hear from her in just a moment. That's not the video up there, Calvin. We'll get. Okay, it looks like we are having some issues with that. So here's what we'll do. We will post that video with Jennifer Graham after our program today and make sure that we hear from her, one of the leaders of that event. I do want to give her some flowers. If we put this picture up, Calvin, that is Jennifer Graham in the foreground there in the pink jacket. on your screens on civiccentertv.com. And we got to give her a huge thank you. She played a big role in helping us prepare for our broadcast yesterday out at United We Walk, and for helping us be prepared to film the whole ceremony for you, which we have on our website on civiccentertv.com, as well as on our YouTube page at Civic Center TV and on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. Feel free to watch that and see all of her hard work and hard work of the United We Walk committee, its co-chairs, both adults and students, and everyone else in the community that went into putting on this event. I would also highly encourage you to go to the Facebook page of the West Bloomfield School District to find more information on United We Walk and pictures from across the school district. Last week we featured a story on Gretschko Elementary School and its students doing their march through their school. Every other school in the school district, all the other elementary schools having their own United We Walk marches in their school. Roosevelt had one even later on, late last week. And so many different stories you can find from across the Greater West Bloomfield community and the West Bloomfield School District in celebration of United We Walk. I want to also remind you that our coverage of United We Walk can be found on civiccentertv.com. Again, I want to go through the airing of our airtime today, which you can find on our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Those airing times will be 2:30 p.m., 7 p.m., and 9 p.m. today. But it's always available to you on demand on our YouTube page at Civic Center TV, as well as on civiccentertv.com. We'll take a break on the Splash Live very briefly, and on the other side, we'll come back with a few more stories from throughout our community. An important meeting tonight with residents in the city of Kieft Harbor. Plus, we'll tell you about some other special programming we have planned for Friday in partnership with the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. More local stories that are close to home coming up next on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen. Take a break and tune in to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join Tyler Kieft as he goes through headlines and events, updating you on the day-to-day happenings in Oakland County. Catch us live weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing. You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Follow us on Twitter at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
We thank you for sticking with us here on the Splash Live to find your local news stories that are close to home in Kieft Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, Sylvan Lake, and West Bloomfield Township. Join us 5 days a week on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Keep us in your social media feeds by following us and liking us on Facebook.com at Civic Center TV 15, and subscribe to us for free on YouTube at Civic Center TV if you hit the bell icon next to that subscribe button also. You'll get notifications both on YouTube in your YouTube feed, or push notifications if you got the YouTube app, and in your email inbox as well. Whenever we go live or we post a new video, we'll have all those interviews from the student co-chairs, the leaders, the volunteers in our community, and of course, as we mentioned, adult co-chair Jennifer Graham, who we were not able to put on today's program. We'll have that for you very shortly today. You'll get notifications about all of that and find those on our YouTube page at Civic Center TV, or search search Greater West Bloomfield Civic Center TV on YouTube. Subscribe for free, hit that bell icon, and you'll get notifications from all of our programming and all of our content all year round. It's a very big day in the city of Kegel Harbor. A meeting has been planned independently by residents to address the future of the 103-year-old Roosevelt School original building on Cass Lake Road in Kegel Harbor. It has been closed for the last couple of years as a result of some safety concerns inside the building, with students being moved from the original building to the former Abbott Middle School location in Kegel Harbor for Roosevelt Elementary School by the West Bloomfield School District. And following the plans from their strategic visioning committee that were approved by the school district back in September of this year, it is expected that this building will be demolished as early as this summer. And so residents in Kegel Harbor are making one last-ditch effort to try to change that decision by the West Bloomfield School District and convince them of other means in their community. They're going to have a meeting at Jano's Pizzeria and Restaurant, at Santia Hall tonight. That meeting will be happening at 6 o'clock p.m., January 15th, that is today, 6 p.m. at Santia Hall on Cass Lake Road in Kegel Harbor. On your screen, you're seeing some of the different slides they're going to go through. They're going to have a full presentation and discussion with the community about ideas for other ways that maybe Roosevelt could be utilized in the future if it is not, in fact, demolished, and reasons why they want to save this historic building for their community that's been standing there for over 100 years. You have a chance to participate 6 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m., a presentation and some discussion about Roosevelt at Santia Hall. That will be happening tonight. The West Bloomfield School District did release a statement regarding the Roosevelt School closing and the planned demolition for this back in September after their Strategic Visioning Committee plans were approved, including the official shuttering and the demolition plans for Roosevelt School, stating, quote, "The state of the building is a significant concern. Roosevelt is over 100 years old. It has become increasingly clear that maintaining it is not a safe or financially responsible choice." We also, in that statement, can read from operations and from the Assistant Superintendent of Facilities and Operations, Jamie Stottlemyre, who also was quoted in that statement from the school district back in September, saying, quote, "We must be good stewards of our taxpayer dollars and allocate resources where they will have the most substantial and lasting impact on our students' education." So a healthy debate continues between those in Kegel Harbor who hold Roosevelt School near and dear to them and find that to be a very critical part of the Kegel Harbor community, and the West Bloomfield School District. And what's good about this is that the debate continues on. It is amicable, and it's not necessarily a lot of finger pointing. And hopefully that continues to be the way that things go forward, and some sort of compromise maybe perhaps could be found in this, or at the very least some opinions that need to be out in the community and in this discussion will be heard. And it's important for everybody involved that their voices are heard and we make sound decisions as a community. So good to hear that this will be happening in Roosevelt, and plenty more on this story will be coming up in the near future. If you're looking for a job in West Bloomfield Township, hey, so many departments at the township office, the fire department, the police department, the library, parks, they're all looking for you and others that are looking for work, part-time, full-time, and other opportunities. And there's going to be a special job fair happening Wednesday this week at the newly renovated location of the West Bloomfield Police Department. That's going to happen from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. You'll hear about different jobs that are available from the police department, the fire department, parks, the library, the township office, and more. Find more information on wbtownship.org. Finally, before we wrap things up, I want to give you some information on a special broadcast from our team at Civic Center TV happening on Friday. We'll be out at West Bloomfield Park's Connective brand new facility on 14 Mile Road in West Bloomfield with our friends at the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce for their annual board installation breakfast. Former host of this show, Brooke Allen, will be featured in there. So will Judge Diane DiAugustini of the 48th District Court, who will officially swear in the new leadership of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce's Board of Directors and welcome new members. We'll be there. We'll talk to the Chamber. We'll talk to local businesses. We'll talk to others involved in this ceremony, and it will all be live right here on Civic Center TV and on civiccentertv.com. Plenty of more stories to get to all throughout the week. We invite you to stay with us on the Splash Live Monday through Friday for the latest news that's close to home. Stay with us. The Splash Live will continue very soon.